Am I live? I'm live. Nobody watching. Yay! Seems to be a bit of lag. Oh. Anyways, nobody watching is good. Just means I can talk to myself. What do you think, self? Let's see. Okay, we're just going to do a few things here. And if the right person comes in, I have a question. I want to do something, but I'm doubting myself doing it. Hey, Cliff D, you're here. Cool. I just thought I'd go live so I have a witness or two or three. Mr. Logan and Russ, you guys are watching and lurking. I've got a decision to make on the printer here, and I've been doing some testing, et cetera, et cetera. It's to do with the box turtle. I want to get that box turtle printing this weekend, so I have to do a few things in advance to get it going. And one of the things I have to do involves some wiring that I'm questioning. So, hey, Stephen Reimer. So, and specifically what it is okay. There's a in the Filamatrix hot end that we finished on Sunday and mounted on Sunday. There's that filament sensor, the new filament sensor for when you put filament in. It hits that little switch in the ball. Now that filament sensor has to be hooked up to a open sensor on the main board. Now, in order to do that, I've got to come from one of the plugs up here. Hey, Rob, down to the main board and into. So, anyways, what I'm getting at, and I'll show you on the camera if I can here. Let me see if I can turn this thing around without causing a disaster, so I can give you a camera view of what I'm looking at. I think I'm okay to do what I'm going to do. But do you ever try to make a decision and you're questioning yourself about this decision you're going to make, even though it's probably the right thing to do, but you're still doubting whether it is the right thing to do? That's what I'm going through right now. And I don't know why, because I think it'll work fine. So let me pull this camera up. And this is, again, just one of those impromptu streams that sometimes I just feel like getting on the computer and getting on the live stream and streaming because I have the ability to do that. And we have six bored people out there watching me. Thank you. No draw tonight, nothing. This is just an impromptu stream. So where I'm getting at here is, okay, so for anybody, I'm not sure if any of you guys on here now have built the Vorons or seen them. So what happens is from the print head, or from the print head on this thing, this is the 2.4. Let me switch to this camera. So everything comes from the print head in this cluster of wires right here. Okay. Everything comes from here and goes into this breakout board. Okay, focus back in there. Focus back in there. I know you can do it. Right there. Yeah, so everything comes into this breakout board right here. That is focusing terrible right now. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Everything comes from the print head. Hang on 1 second for me. I'm going to mute myself for 1 second here. Yes, I am. What do you need? Mom needs my car key. Okay, well, Ethan, hang on. Let me switch the camera. Ethan's going to say something.
Hit that like button and subscribe.
There you go. Awesome. Tell Mom to drive careful. Anyway, thanks, Ethan. It's just a quickie. So everything comes from this cable, goes into this breakout board, and then goes over into here, and then this is the octopus and everything. So what I need to do is I need to take a cable from the daughter board that's on the hot end, and I need to put it in. I need to get one of these. I think it's one of these up here. No, that's the LEDs. And there's the end stop. The end stop pins are right in here. So I need to plug that into one of the end stop pins. Okay, so Rob, you're laughing at me. That's good. No. So, okay, so what I discovered, let me zoom back out so you get a kind of a view of the whole thing here. what I discovered here was on the stream on Sunday. Let me switch back here. On the stream on Sunday, it was Thunder Keys, who knows what he's doing when it comes to this stuff. He told me that from that micro switch on the head, and I'm going to bring this up to give you a view up here. He suggested I plug that micro switch in right where that plug is right there. You can kind of see that plug that's plugged in there onto that daughter board there. It's blurry, but I'm pointing at that one right there. So told me to go from there. Now, I at first I could not figure out for the life of me. I did some testing. So I hooked up a dummy wire from that so that I could take my continuity meter and figure out which plug on this board that will go to. Well, it turns out it doesn't go to any of those plugs. Turns out, and I'll show you what I did here. Doop. So I have my meter hooked up, one end of my meter hooked up to one of the wires coming out of this plug that's right back in here, okay? Just to find out where those wires are coming out down here. Now, it turns out, let me grab my meter over here. Let me turn it on continuity. So it turns out that what I did is I had this other plug I had made to plug in here to do the continuity to see which one it was coming out of. It's not coming out of any of those. Turns out that, is it this one? Yeah. So the one wire coming out of that plug is coming to this wire in this cluster right there. So that is the red wire. It doesn't, red and black doesn't matter in this because it's an end stop switch. So it doesn't really matter because it's either open or closed. There's no power. So that's the red wire coming out of there. Okay. Now, if I go up top here, I'm going to switch to the black wire. Okay. Now, I couldn't find, now the other end of this is on the black wire. None of these made a tone, but I had this loose wire for some reason coming off all on its own that's coming from the top, from the head. And I think this was meant to be for an end stop or something. Anyways, when I touch this, there's my black wire. Okay. Hey, Richard McLean. There's my black wire. So coming out of that plug up top that I have that, let me cut this off so I can kind of make my point here. Coming out from the top where I have that end stop switch that I need to connect. Cut this off. There we go. I have the black part of the wire coming to this loose wire that's here. And I have the red part of the wire coming into one of the wires in this cluster. What I'm tempted to do, hey Tuxedo, so what I want to do then is I want to take this wire and I want to actually take this plug, find the wire in here, which it is, pull this out, connect these two wires together as a plug and plug it into the board as an end stop switch. Why am I hesitating? Because I have to basically damage or destroy that one wire out of here, but it shouldn't affect anything else going into the system because that wire is obviously not being used for any of this stuff because I'm reading continuity between this and the wire that's plugged into the end stop thing up there. So I think I'm okay to do that. So that's kind of what I want to do. Now this wire is obviously not going to be long enough to reach the end stop switch. So I'm going to have to actually splice this wire and add a little bit of length to it. This other wire is plenty long enough to reach over to that end stop switch. So, and it looks like I've spliced this wire right here before. So obviously I've had to make that longer for something. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I just wanted witnesses while I butcher this to see me do this. So I kind of know the answer to my own question, but I wanted to explain it because somehow when you explain something out and talk it out, it makes more sense than when you're sitting here alone, not talking to anybody, thinking about this, doubting yourself. So I think that's what I got to do. You can still do it. Of course I can do it. I just actually, before I put that away, I'm going to hook up back up to this red wire up here. And I need to figure out in this cluster that goes to the breakout board which one it is. I think it's this one, and it is. So it's when I got the clip to the bottom, it's the second one in from the left. And none of the other ones obviously are going to make the continuity because they're not just that one. Okay, so we know which wire it is. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. Processing externally helps the thought process. It does. It helps to talk it out. And for some reason, it's better when you're actually talking to people that are actually listening than talking to yourself, as as I'm figuring out. Okay, I'm going to put my meter away, but I think I lost my black meter pointer cover-upper thing. It's up here somewhere. It maybe fell on the floor. No big deal. So now I just got to figure out, where did this come from? Ooh. That's like a little ribbon cable cover off something. I just found this on the side. This is one of those little things that you use to put a ribbon cable, say, into a pie or something. So I better keep that because I'm sure I'm going to need that for something. That didn't just randomly fall out of somewhere. I don't think. Anyways. So that's what we're going to do. Questionable choices. Yeah, I'm making questionable choices right here. So what are you saying that because I'm streaming? I just got here, so lacking context on what you're trying to do. I am trying to, okay, I'll just give you a quick recap, Tuxedo. On Sunday, we finished, as you were here, we finished the we finished the hot end. And now with the Filamatrix, the hot end has that little sensor telling you when the filament's in it. And Thunder Keys had told me to plug in that sensor, or that end stop for that filament sensor, into that plug right there where you see the plug plugged in. That's just a test cable I plugged in there. So what I had to do was trace where that test cable, I had to trace where it came down the line and into, I thought it was coming into this breakout board, but it's not coming into any of the open plugs in the breakout board. It's coming to one wire in this and this random loose wire that I have here for some odd reason when I was building the Trident, or the Voron. So I'm going to take the wire out of this cluster plug and then plug it back in, and I'm going to use that wire. I have to make an extension on and this wire to make a plug to plug that sensor into an end stop switch on the Octopus mainboard so that I can tell the firmware it's in pin so-and-so for the end stop switch. Talking to someone who listened. What? Oh, I see what you're saying. Good one. Yeah, so I think I'm okay to do that. I think I have to get that down to an end stop switch, and that's going to be the only way to do it. I just didn't really want to take a wire out of this if I didn't have to, but I have to based on where I want to run it from on top of the board. I sort of have no choice, so I have to take out second one from the left on the bottom. So that's what I got to do. Now I'm just trying to think how. I know there's a way to. These ones don't come out so easy like the other ones do, but I'm sure there is a way, if I really try, I can sort that wire out no problem. Here, I should put the other camera on so you can see what I'm looking at, but I can sort that wire out. It's this wire, it's this one right here. And I wonder if one of these tools I have this set of tools. I don't remember. I think it was Never Let the Machines Win Mike that sent me this whole cluster of tools. And these are specific tools for pulling these pins out of these connectors. Could you buzz the wire on the... They're already both buzzed. So I did buzz them both. So the one coming out of the top of the connector here, there's a red and a black coming out of this. Okay. The black is beeping to this. It's coming to this one. The red is coming to this one. So I've already identified the two wires. So I think, I'm just trying to think which tool would work if any of these, for getting this particular type of connector out, it's going to be a really thin, skinny one. Let me just have a quick peek. It might be, let me try this one. If that's too big to go around it, it's too small to go around it. Might be this one. That is not, hang on a sec. Why is there, no, it's got to be one of these. Yep, those work really well. Yeah, but to get these out, I'm not sure, because there's no openings here. There's no openings here. It's got to be down straight through this. But I think I need a really thin one. It's just going to be a single thin one. Let's just find that. Maybe this one right here. Oh, there's one right here that's even thinner. So we're going to try this really thin one and see if I come down through this. And I mean, I can cut the wire, but I don't want to cut the wire because I'd like the option to actually put it back in if I ever choose to do so. So let's see. Nope, it's not. See, I've never had to take one of these out before, and these perhaps are not even meant to be taken apart. Hey, Brent Ferguson. So let's just have a quick peek. See if there's any way. I can't get down the sides of them at all. And going down the middle of the plug doesn't seem to do anything as far as loosening it to remove it. I've already got enough blood on my finger there. I don't want to cause more. So let's see. I may end up cutting the wire, which is fine, because it's, as I say, it's not going to do any harm. Let me just double check this thing once more. See if there's anything smaller that I could be using here, and I don't think so. Maybe this one. Yeah, I honestly don't think these connectors are meant to come apart so easy. That connector is Molex Microfit, right? I think so, but as I say, if I zoom in, there's no holes on the side. Normally you can push these tools into the side and release the clip, but there's no holes on either side of this one. It's just the only access is from the top into the pins. So yeah, that's kind of what I got to work with. You remap the other end of the leads. So that's the only one that's fitting in there, but I may end up cutting this wire. So let's try one more thing here. Let's just see. If I can force that out. Nope. Unless I come in from this end. Maybe if I come in from the back side. Let's just see. Perhaps this is the way to do it. And then maybe the back side. It's just a big cluster of wires I got to be careful with here. I don't want to damage any of the other ones. You'll break it, yeah. Hey, Jerry. So maybe if I come in underneath that. Does that do anything for me? No. Yeah, I just don't know how to properly release this wire. But I'd like to if I can, as I say. Because I'd like to salvage the wire if at all, or I'd like to be able to put that back in. Let me try this one. There's got to be a way to pop these out. There has to be. Hang on, that felt like something. Nope. She doesn't want to come out too easily. Leave that end alone and find the other end of that wire, easier to deal with. The other end of this wire, though, The other end of this wire is going up through all the cable chains up into the hot end. So I need this wire down here. I need this end of the wire. So I think I'm just going to cut it. The tangs are on the side, not on the tops of the terminal. They're on the side of these ones. Okay, so let's see if I can fit this down the side. It's just very tight fitting in here. Let's see. No, I think I'm just going to end up cutting the wire. Let's just... Nope, I don't want to pull too hard. I'm just going to cut this wire. And I can always deal with it later if I have to. So let's just snip this one, make sure I'm snipping the right one. And I am. Good. So I just cut the wire. So now I can go ahead and plug this back in where it goes. Right here. Oops. It's popped off the rails, that's all. There we go. And I can put this back on. There we go. None the worse for wear. Okay. So we cut that one wire. Now I've got to actually extend this wire. Just got in. Hey, Death Cube. Okay, so I'm going to strip that wire. And so what I need to do, we'll strip a little bit of this off. There we go. And I need to make a little extension for this one so that we're going to bring these two together. We're going to bring these two wires together to go up over into an end stop. Plug up there. Okay, so let's find myself another small, fine piece of wire. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my bin. Actually, instead of the bin, hang on. I have, where did I put it all? Is it this one? No, those are still too big. I almost need like fan wire. Yeah, right here. This is what I need. I need to grab like an old Creality fan, because this is nice thin wire, this fan wire, and I need to steal some wire from this old fan. I have a ton of fans over here, spare fans. So that is it's going to take this, and I'm going to actually connect this, and we're going to splice these two wires together. That's stripped okay. So we're going to solder these ends together. First we will tin them, then solder them, and put some heat shrink on them. So let's just do this. Let's grab my soldering iron, which I put, way over here. And some solder. Of course, I've got a dry sponge. Do I have any water down here? I got a little bit of water left here. It's going to wet my sponge. That's what she said. There we go. Turn this on. Great little soldering iron, by the way. Hey, Andrew Humphrey. We are all your fans, DeWitt 3D Canada. Well, thank you so much. Okay, and where's my flux? I like to flux this stuff. Somebody said to me once, they said, oh, flux it. So I flux it. Gets all the contaminants off the wires. And we'll flux this end. There we go. Stuff's probably not good for you, but what the heck. TS100. This soldering iron, what is the model number on this? It's that Fantic one. It's is that the TS100? This is this is the, I don't know. Fantic T1. It's this guy here. That's it right there. This is one brand new in the box. We gave one of these away beginning of the year. So, okay, so we got a hot soldering iron. We got some flux. And let's grab our little tray here. How's that all upside down? Wow. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly tin these wires and then solder them together. Don't let me forget to put heat shrink on them. There we go. Oh my goodness, when you coat the wires with a little bit of flux to begin with, it kind of works really well. This one's a little tricky because I can't really reach down to my helping hand thing with it. But that worked. Okay. So now I'm going to hopefully get these. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Shrink wrap, heat shrink. Where did I put it? It is. I put it away, did I? No, I didn't. There it is. Always have some heat shrink. Got enough here to last me forever. So we use this red stuff. I don't need that much. Cut off a little piece here. There we go. Actually, I can put it on this other end. I don't really need to worry about it right now. Hey, 3D Medic Vince. So let's kind of twist these two together. These two pieces that are what do you call it? I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but this is just joining these two wires, and I'm not overly worried about how clean and neat they are because they're going to be covered as long as I get a good connection on them. And as long as they kind of stick together. Oh, that's hot. That's hot through the wire. Gets hot. You've ordered the Elegoo Centauri carbon. Oh, nice. Now to wait 4 months. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got the, oh, sorry. So these wires are connected right here to give me my little extension wire. Now I'm just going to run a piece of heat shrink tubing up this. Okay. Hate to leave so soon, but my boss decided to schedule a 5 a.m. meeting. Well, okay, Brent. I appreciate you dropping in anyways. This was just a quick impromptu stream anyways, so nothing too fancy, nothing too special. Let's bring some heat shrink up the line here. Okay, and should I have used a bigger piece? Possibly. Let's see if I can squeeze this in there. There it is. And we'll squeeze it over. Come on, get over there. And just a little bit further. There we go. Well, it ain't pretty, but it'll do. So I'll grab my, where is it? One of my few heat guns. This is the electric one. I have one that's a butane one. This one just happens to be quite handy. And we'll just shrink this wire. This. Yeah, that's hot. Okay, and where's my off switch? There it is. And what I'm going to do, just because, is I'm going to take another little piece of heat shrink. Heat shrink really is pretty one shrunk. Hey, MakerMind Nexus, or Maker Mindset. Oh, I thought that said MakerMind Nexus. Sorry about that. I'm going to take a black piece, and I'm going to run a black piece of heat shrink up both of these. First of all, let's determine my length here. My length is right about there. Better too long than too short, as always. Okay, now we're just going to take a piece of black shrink, slide it up, and then I just like to do like almost like a double coverage of what I just did, plus it holds the wires together in place. So we'll go ahead and heat this. There we go. That way I'm guaranteed, well, pretty much guaranteed that if it runs across anything on the board or touches anything, it's not going to give me no issues. Okay. Leave that out just in case I change my mind. Okay, so there we go. So there's the wire for the there's the wire for the end stop switch that we're going to make now. So now to find the right connector for the end stop switch. Nice. Oh, that's nice. Ah, man, I envy you guys with the equipment you have. Okay, actually, I'm not going to need that heat gun anymore, so I may as well just wrap it up and put it away. Okay, so that said, I think I need one of these. Is this the one for that board, or is it the bigger one? I think it's the bigger one. Hang on. I think it's the little bigger one. I think it's this one. I'll just double check. And it is, those end stop switches take 3 pins. They're the 3, but we only use the 2 on the top, just like the X and Y end stop here. So I believe it's this one. So I'm looking at this here. This is the one I think it is right there. But just do a dry fit just to be sure. And yeah, that is, so that's, you can see right there, I just made sure that that is the proper connector to fit in this board, and it is. So there we go. So then I need to strip these wires. Let me put the, let me turn the soldering iron off because I don't want to be burning my hand here. There we go. Just put this up out of the way. I don't know why I'm still on that camera. There we are. And we're just going to strip these wires right here. Actually, here. You hear my dog barking probably. Here, let's see where we're looking at here. There you go. That's better. Appreciate you guys that are here just hanging out with me. So I think we're going to, oh, next one down. So we're just going to do that tiny little bit. And I got to make the time, Jerry, as you suggested one time, that I do a video on making these connectors, because I'm getting pretty confident at doing it, and it's actually getting pretty simple for me to do. So, and I was very intimidated when I first tried to make these kind of connectors. So, okay, so then I need my crimpers, these guys. And for anybody that doesn't know, these guys, the brand is IWISS, IWISS. These are the best ones I've got, and they work phenomenal. They work great. Thanks, Jerry. Have I ever heard of Dogwood? I have heard of Dogwood. Isn't that a place? So we're going to basically get these in. So this is the way I do it. I ensure, so you got to ensure that you're not squishing anything that you shouldn't be squishing on this side. You can kind of see that I'm not. And then on this side, you just have, you can just see on that middle hole where the connector is. And this is where we're going to place the wire in. And you want to make sure you get that wire in far enough so that you're also crimping the shielding. Kind of like, and then when I crimp, so that one was perfect. So basically, if I zoom in here, you're looking for, let's see if this will show. It's hard to see, but it should crimp your your shielding, which is the black part, you can see that it's crimped under there. Hang on, let me get closer. That's better. So you can see it crimped the black part, and then also there's a second crimp there where it crimps the wire. So that is a good crimp right there. And on the top, you can see there's a little springy type thing on the top there. So I haven't squished anything that's got to go into that actual connector. So there we go. Let's back this out again. Like, I don't know, like so. Is this, I don't know. Whatever. It's kind of blurry. I don't know what it's focusing on right now. Set the lens to shooting position. What? Oh, I had my lens was turned too far away, so it wasn't focusing on anything. Didn't think this lens has a sort of an on-off position. Okay, so we'll pop this one back in here again. Oops, this way. There we go. And our second one. These get easier as you do them. I used to have to have a magnifying glass on here too because my eyes, but and crimp. And another good crimp. That one's a little, that one's going to work. I should have put the black in a little bit further, but that is still going to work. Okay. Then we'll take and we're going to go in the top two. So this is going to slide in. So the little springy thing goes up top. Like so. So there's, oops, hard to focus on this one end in. And I'll have to do better camera work if I ever do a video on this. So basically now, we have, you can see I've got my two wires successfully put into the plug. Just like so. Okay. Okay, he said. Okay. Too late. What? Test before you put it in. I can still test it. Running up to that. I can still test it because I've got some bare wire right here. But hey, good idea. Let's go ahead and connect up. So up to my plug, let's connect to the red one. And again, color doesn't matter. It's for an end stop switch. So, but we'll connect to that one, put it on continuity. And let's grab the other end. And let's grab my plug. And I think it's going to be this one. No, there we go. Okay, we got continuity on the one. Now we'll switch to the black. Okay, and that should be this one. Perfect. So we got good continuity. So no, it wasn't too late to test. Just about threw my meter on the ground. These things are so handy when you're doing these builds. It's a must-have. I have 3 of them. Don't know why. I guess I just like collecting tools. In case I need one somewhere else. In case I forget where I put one. Ow! That magnet is strong. I have a magnet on my bench. Check out the size of this magnet that's on my bench to hold things on with, and it's stinking strong. This is half of what it was because it broke, but that thing is stinking strong. Hang on, it's going to make a noise here. There we go. Where is the other half of that magnet, by the way? Oh, it's right here. Oh, that's not, oh, the other half. No, then I have, I digress, but then I have, here's another one. Another big magnet. Look how thick that is. That is one strong, powerful magnet. You don't want to run that too close to a hard drive or your phone. So, yeah. Anyways, that one is on my X-Tool laser to hold my little accessories on. Rookie year, I didn't test assuming it made good crimp, but no. I've done that before. I have done that before. But I not to pat myself on the back, but I'm getting handy at making these connectors now. It's just once you do a whole bunch of them and you make so many mistakes. Fortunately, these kits that I get on Amazon, come on, pick up wire. These kits come with tons of them. So, I mean, I'll never run out of these. Okay, so we can now plug in. Let me put a few tools away. I can now plug in the end stop onto the board. And I just need to, then I got to know which pin I'm plugging it into so I can tell it. It was a thing in the 80s, 90s. It still exists. I don't know what you're talking about. I just got to put a couple things away here. You know, always good to tidy as you go. Even when you're in a live stream, if you have to tell people, hold on, I'm just putting a couple things away here. Because that's how I end up not knowing where stuff is. There's still stuff I've been looking for that I can't find. So, okay, so now I've got a bunch of wires here that all these wires were in the Voron, not connected to anything. So I took them out. I hope they weren't connected to anything. So I can throw this little piece of wire out now. Okay, so now I guess I can plug it in. So where I'm going to go, because actually I had, here we go, right in here. Can I zoom in on that? And is it going to be easy to be seen? That's not bad. That's pretty bright in there. So right here is my Y end stop, right up top. Right. So this is my LED control. The second one in right here is my X end stop. Because I don't have, these are going to come out eventually because I don't have, right now I don't have sensorless homing. So this X end stop, Y end stop. And then my Z was right here, but because, so I had a Z end stop. Here, that's not working. There we go. My Z was right in here, but I took it out because I'm using a beacon probe. So I'm using virtual end stop with my beacon probe. So I didn't make a Z. So I'm going to put this in here. So I'm going to put this end stop, which is my filament sensor, just in beside this one. And now I've got to go find, there we go. Now I've got to go find the pin out for the board, for the octopus, and figure out what pin that is so I can tell the firmware what pin number I've used. So that should be all I need to do to get the firmware working now. So let's hope. Right. Hey, Dominic. That's an X-Tool laser. I thought it was a shelf. Oh, you thought this here was a shelf? No, this is the X-Tool S1. If I can open this up. It's the X140 watt laser. It's a nice laser, actually. I've done some pretty good stuff with it. It's used as a shelf when I'm not lasering. And way over here, I've got the so for that laser, I'll show you, because you might not have seen back here, Russ, before. But back up here, you can see where my exhaust is. I actually purchased a high flow fan vent for it. It's venting into the back, goes out, and then I've actually permanently mounted it kind of in the window here, and then it runs down the side of the house and exhausts into the backyard. And it's got a flapper thing in between. So when the exhaust is on, the flapper opens. When it's off, it closes, so that no varmints or critters run up the hose. But so that's how I'm venting my laser, and it works really well. Except in August last year, this is another story. But in August last year, we had a major hailstorm up here, which, if I showed you the pictures, you'd be amazed. But devastated siding on houses, everything in it. And the hail killed all my vents outside, all this vent that I have, this black stuff. So I purchased some more. It's sitting up in my stairs. And when the weather gets nice here and it clears out, I got to go replace all that outside venting. So, yeah. And it's the same hailstorm. My car is due for the hail repair on June 30th. So the storm was last August. my booking was for June 30th. That's how busy they've been with hail repair for cars. My car had $12,000 worth of hail damage done to it. So thank goodness for insurance. So there we go. Puts create sign on the laser machine. Yeah. Here, let's light it up. There we go. It's prettier in person, believe me. It looks better in person when it's lit up. Hang on, if I put it in a dark place, maybe like in front of that. No, it's hard to see. Oh, I think my battery. Oh no, I hit the off switch. There we go. Pretty. Light up my create sign. You got aluminum vents. Nice. Yeah, these are those. They're a soft material. They're tough material, but when you get hailstones coming down as hard as the hail came down, yeah. I wonder if I have. Any of you ever experienced hailstorms? Let's see if I have a picture real quick to show you. I'm trying to remember. We're speaking August 2024. August. I might not have kept any pictures of the side of the house. But no, I don't think I did. But man, and I had some pictures of my car that I sent to the insurance company. Oh, well, here's my car. Here, hang on. Let's see how, if you can see. Well, there's, you can kind of see, there's one of the dents in the hood of my car from the hail. You can probably see that a little bit there. That was one dent from, obviously, we had up to golf ball size hail. So that's one dent in the front of the hood. And then, let's see, you can kind of see across the hood, you can kind of see all the dents right there across the hood from the hail, right? And then also, oh, there's a piece of the side trim on the car. Where are we here? Piece of the hang on, it's better if I do this. Piece of the side trim. Look at the dent in that. And and I have a sunroof, and then there's another dent in the piece of the trim. So you can imagine the size of the hailstones that are doing this damage. And then, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Oh, there's one of the houses in the neighborhood. That's pretty much pick every house within a 10-block radius of where we live. And one side of the house looked like that, like a war zone from all the hail. Ours was finally fixed. We had to everybody got new roofs and new siding. So, and that's not even the worst of it. That just happens to be one of the ones I took a picture of. Yeah. And then that's the other side of the hood with more damage than you can think. And down the sides of the car, sides of the hood, everything like that. So yeah, oh yeah. And that was 6 years ago as well. We had another major hailstorm that hit a different part of the city. So thing that I'm concerned about, it's a leased vehicle, so it's going to go back eventually, which is why I got to get it fixed. I can't just take a payout. Is that it happened in August. I'm getting it fixed this June, and then hail season's coming again. So if I happen to be in a spot with my car where hail hits again, it's going to be like like Groundhog Day. It's going to just be happening over and over again. So yeah. 8mm biggest size. Wow. Yeah, we had there were windows shattered here, windshields, depending where you were. I had a glass sunroof and it didn't get damaged, which is good considering some of those big dents I got and some of the hailstones it hit. But they say there was golf ball size hail in that last storm. So, okay, I'm going to power this sucker on. I know it's on its side. Oh no, I can't. I've got to plug in up here first. So I'm going to stand this up. Just going to stand this up carefully. I think. I don't know what that crack was. There we go. So we'll stand this up, and now I had this was just my test cable right here, so I'm going to pull that out, and this is the actual plug coming from the sensor in the print head in the Filomatrix. So we're going to plug that one in there. So that's the connector that we just put on the main board into one of the end stop pins. So yeah, I haven't got my cover on this thing yet, but eventually I will. There we go. What are we at? 9 o'clock. 9:30 is my latest I can go tonight. So let's go ahead and power this on. I took my sides off because it was so much easier to get into. Power this on and see if I can. Actually, I need to identify that pin and the pinout first. So I got to find a pinout for the octopus, the BTT octopus board. I'm just going to sit down here for a second. I want to get this solved just because I want to actually start printing on Sunday, if we at all can. I want to start printing on Sunday's live stream. So, hey, Ricky B. Solar farm took a hit. Hail in Texas recently. There's a lot of the weather crap that's going on these days. I'm telling you, man, it's scary. Okay, let me find. I got to open another browser window over here. I'm going to drag this to this screen, like so. I'll share my screen here. What the heck? And oh no, what happened to There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to look BTT octopus pinout. And I just need one that I can kind of get a decent view of. I used to have a really big one that I did for myself at one point. If I click on that, is that going to zoom in for me? There we are. So we put it in. I believe it was this one right here. I think it was J31 we put it in. Let's see. Do I, because these are the ones here. And we had the X, the Y, and this was the Z, but I put that one there. So J31 is PG10. So PG10 is going to be our board. See you, Tuxedo. Thanks for popping in. I got something in my... Had some dinner in my teeth. you know, when you use a zip knife as a toothpick, you're really getting gutsy. So believe we're looking for... So we were... What did I just say? J31. So PG10 is our pin. So if we go to the PG10, so if I go back in here, and if I go to AFC, and I believe it was hardware config, and they want a pin right there. Pin tool start was PG. What did I just say? Man, my memory, I'm telling you. PG10. PG10. So now let's see if that fixes our error. And it looks like it might. Maybe, maybe not. Now you're holding scalpel to your gums. So that's not starting up for some reason. Now, did I put AFC Turtle AFC? Is it this one here, Turtle 1 config? I got my dev serial number in here. Maybe I have to restart the machine. That could possibly be a reason, because I'm not getting that error. I'm definitely not getting that pin error. But was that the right way to? Was that the right name for the pin? Let me just check one thing. What are all the? Is it the PGs that are defining the pins? No, PF. Although this is PG, which is fine. So yeah, I did get the right pin. So PG10. Okay, so that is correct. So there's something else going on. I may have to reboot it all. Hook up a blood tube to a fish pump for some laughs. Okay. Let's do a restart. So let's go ahead and reboot. See if that makes any difference. And if not, that's okay. I got what I wanted done tonight. I got that plug down to the board, which is what I wanted, and it's gotten rid of that error. And now we just have to figure out what's going on with the rest of the stuff here. You had an airline installed under the chairs, an Alien versus Predator ride in MGM. Oh, too funny. Let's try again here. Might not quite be booted up yet. I know you failed. Try again. This will work this time. There we go. Let's see. The Clippy host software is attempting to connect. Please retry in a few moments. So this I can probably figure out what's going on here if it's not going to start up, but don't know. But at least I got what I wanted accomplished tonight accomplished. So we'll just see. I don't think this is going to start up. So I will worry about this another night. Yeah, that's not going to start up. So, but in the meantime, in the meantime, I've got to get these out. I got some more. I printed some more containers for my threaded board wall over here. I got a couple containers. Got a white container just so I can store more tools on my wall. Love my threadboard wall. And then a few extra hangers and stuff for it. These things are great. It's not like the Gridfinity, but it's a little bit different. So for instance, I've got these guys, like this one here, I can put up on there, and then I can hang some more screwdrivers, et cetera, up there. These guys are just for hanging individual different things. And of course, these little boxes that I can screw up. I only need 2 or 3 on here that I can screw up onto the wall, and I can just put stuff in them. Yeah, I just love this little system for what it is. So it's awesome. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about this. So yeah, it's still not. Oh, Turtle 1 is unable to connect. So we did get an error here. Hang on. Let's show that error. Turtle 1 is not unable to connect once the underlying issue is corrected. Firmware restore. So Turtle 1 is unable to connect. Oh. This is going to tell you that I'm a little tired. Do you know why Turtle 1 won't connect? Because the turtle's sitting here and it's not connected to the printer. I got to shut down the printer, connect the turtle, actually connect the turtle, and it might work. Anyways, whatever. That just means it's time to call it quits for the night. So it was an easy fix, right? That's like turning the printer off and trying to connect to the printer and going, why isn't the printer connecting? Anyways, well, I'm glad I could leave you with a laugh. This was just a short stream. I'm going to go now. And I'll see all you guys maybe before Sunday. Maybe I'll hook it up and I'll come on a stream when I actually have the turtle put on the printer. And then we'll try and connect again. But for now, that's enough for tonight. I'm going to go relax a bit, watch a show or two, and just forget this ever happened. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you all. So we will catch you next time. Okay. I've got scheduled Sunday stream, 5 o'clock regular time. My goal is to get this thing up and running so we can actually run filament and everything Sunday. So let's see what happens. We'll see you then. Take care for now.